those little babies are sleeping under the side deck back there. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Good morning, y'all. It's early in the morning. 12 hours ago, I made y'all the pigtail video. YouTube doing all they can to keep y'all from seeing it. I'm fighting against it getting any view counts. While the same video that I uploaded hours later on BitChute is getting looked at. And it's been that way with all the videos. If I upload them on BitChute, people can see them. And if people can see them, people watch them. Now that should be like, you know, it should cause a sense of shame in all those engaged in shadow banning and censoring, especially the white women that got brought onto various places and put in positions of power to do all this wrecking of the world. This is something that you could only get a bunch of women to do, obviously, because when they had men in these same positions of power, they couldn't get this accomplished. But the women, they got no empathy, they got no mercy, and they've been emotionally charged and controlled to do all this evil shit. And look what it's turning the world into. You see that, right? Maybe I should make it bigger so you can really see it. When, you know, because, well, we need to wake up to what the world is. Can you see it now? Animal Rekt. That's right at the top of the 4chan adult video, or adult GIFs. Okay, how do I know about this? Because, well, I'm evil, just like everybody else. I have my vices and I have things. And lately, I haven't been wanting to put the mental energy into the sexual things that I've been doing by myself. And, you know, I haven't been engaging in the astral sexual stuff as much lately. So I didn't want to put so much emphasis on the energy of sex just to get my nut. So I would come over here to 4chan occasionally just for a quickie masturbation to release the sexual tension and energy and be able to refocus. Yeah, look at this, Animal Rekt. Only animals, from mistreatment to the most grotesque and disturbing, Animal Rekt has infiltrated the web. Now, what this caused was for everybody who likes to see things wrecked, including people, caused them all to be cursed. It caused time-traveling angels of death to go find their ancestors before the downward striation could be caused. You know, kill them off before they can spawn the downward striation. It caused, you know, this generation of messed up entities who are into stuff being wrecked. And everybody who participated in making people this psychologically damaged, that they're into seeing animals hurt, you know. And like, they all got cursed with self-replicating curses, compounded per molecule of every animal, compounded per molecule of everybody who sees it, compounded per molecule or per second it passes from the moment that they thought to see something wrecked. You see it from the moment that the footage was created. You know, I set a lost example. I got baby kitties sleeping underneath my side deck that I would, you know, I would just about give anything for them, you know, the ability to catch them and get them fixed and get them adopted out, you know. I just don't want them out there in the world. Y'all seen, if I put that little clip at the beginning of this, y'all seen, you know, okay, well, see, here's the thing, man. Also, devils got loosed in the heaven and earth to go manifest the curses on these entities and guard the curses until they're fully manifested, to slow these entities down, okay, and to shut them down. And with so many people that are into this stuff and so many people that are ignoring that they're doing it and won't even check them for it, that's what's causing all these entities in power to have the authority, the reciprocity authority to do what they're doing. I mean, so it wouldn't even do you any good to fight at this point because, well, you're going to lose. Because you can't win when you have, what's happening to you is reciprocity for your own karma. And this animal Rekt stuff, it's putting negative karma on the whole world. It's putting negative karma on you. I mean, if you don't care about it, you're just going to go on about your day. You don't care. The animals are being wrecked to entertain minds that have been made feeble by the mainstream, by the feeble-minded mainstream, starting with entities like, you know, Snoop Dogg, Dre, niggas with attitude, you know, all these retards, all right, that never should have been allowed. I mean, they should have been sent to school, not to a music studio, for real. They can't even talk right, and they sure don't have no mentality about, you know, what the world is, you know. They want to act like it's culture, to be beneath everybody else, but it be expected to be regarded as equal. No, that's not culture. That's anti-culture. That's what the white man does. He destroys shit and makes you adopt something else. Now, what they've done is they've made people adopt this desire to see stuff hurt, okay? Which is going to get them hurt. It's reciprocity. And it's on the world now. Just like the negative frequency resonance that they create with the brainwaves of the entities who, you know, suffer this stuff. And the entities who see it. Believe it or not, you think you're creating joyful brainwaves. Those entities who watch this wreck shit and they're so happy to see something get hurt. They think they're brainwaves, you know, that they're creating happy brainwaves. No, what they're doing is they're raping their own mind. Because when you subject yourself to violence, you know, for entertainment, you're bruising your own spirit, okay? We are spiritual entities. We didn't come here to hurt stuff. We came here to help stuff, man, you know? And I've been setting this lost example, you know? It's like from the full-grown old-ass retards, you know, next door, killing off skunks and, you know, the kitties that you know, I'm taking care of, you know, poisoning them to death and shit, to, you know, these freaks out in the world. I mean, you're freaks, okay? You like stuff that's not even qualifiable as music, all right? And you listen to it. You listen to all this wrecked. They wrecked music. They wrecked rap, okay? They wrecked it for profit, for, you know, the Caucasian motherfuckers that bought them, man. You see, they bought them, their own. What do Snoop do now with all his millions? He sits around like the white man told him and plays video games. Same for every other gangster rapper. All they do is sit around and play with their toys, man. They're not out in the world trying to make a difference. They're not teaching anybody anything about, hey, y'all, when you die, you're going to get time looped to some animals that I didn't influence you to care about. And now I'm woke, and I want to avoid some time loops, and I want y'all to avoid some time loops. I'm not about to sell y'all. I'm not a turncoat. You see? But no, you ain't never gonna see a gangster rapper step up and not be a turncoat. Neither will any of the black sports figures, and surely not any of the those who are regarded as leaders. You know, I mean, they're the worst ones. All right, they're the worst turncoats. I mean, for real. The letter that you know, King Jr. wrote from jail, he was pissed off that all the hard-working black people who are already equal to the white man, their white peers, they were angry, you know, that they wouldn't leave their nice homes that they worked hard to create, you know, with manicured yards and hedges and shit, you know, swimming pool in the backyard, nice car in front. You know, he Junior was angry that they wouldn't quit all that and go run with a bunch of drags of society, you know, the drags of their race, the non-working, who had nothing but time to get on a bus and go march on some shit, right? So he sent them out on hits, man. And for real, this is factual. I told y'all this in how many videos, and YouTube keeps taking them down because they don't want y'all to know about the turncoats that were bought. That this whole movement was a fake movement to enable the gangsters and the welfare demographic, and to elevate them as they are representatives of a race of people that were already equal to the white man. There was no inequality, man, and there was no ghettos. When you went into a black area, it wasn't a ghetto. There was some ghetto people who, like, their block was messed up, but the whole black neighborhood wasn't like it is now, where it's scary, okay? And what people don't know, who ain't old enough to remember, I'm old, so I remember. I remember when all this stuff was being, incited. Okay, I remember that there used to be black-only signs on the blind pigs in the hood. Okay, because my granny lived in a black neighborhood. Okay, back then blacks and whites called each other names. It was common to hear somebody white call somebody nigger, and it was common to hear somebody black call somebody white honky. And they'd be sitting across the table from each other, family, man, like family, sharing ribs, eating together, block party. Pass me that salt, nigga. Okay, honky, whitey, cracker. Well, cracker's kind of new, but every once in a while somebody would use cracker back then. But it wasn't a big term back then in the 60s. But, there was no getting all broke up over a word. There wasn't no crying. There wasn't no violence. My granny would give somebody she called a nigger money before she would give one of her own fucking, grandkids the money. I mean, like, if they needed it for food or something, and the grandkid just wanted it for something frivolous, she gonna reach across the table and give it to the black people. Okay, but she still, she didn't have no better raising than to say the word, and she didn't have no rejection from the people in the neighborhood. As a matter of fact, when these riots were incited and they finally made it to Detroit, do you know who was on my granny's front porch with shotguns protecting her house from, the rogue blacks that were going around even, burning down black businesses and burning down black people's homes just because they looked too nice? It was black motherfuckers. Yeah, motherfuckers that, would sit across the table from her. At these black parties and at these little events, go down, cook out down at Belle Isle or, something like that. If any of the cookouts ever happened in the hood, there was black people there. And black people were invited to eat. Black people ate the ribs. They ate the coleslaw. They ate the tater salad, okay? Black people have always been a part of my life, okay? And then, I watch this thing where they want to take and transform what they are as a demographic in the minds of everybody, so they elevate all the bugs. And when King Jr. finally woke up to that, that's when they decided they had to kill him, because he was going to start telling the truth, and he was going to stop being a turncoat, because he saw what he did and he felt bad about it. He's in the time loops now as all them black people he caused to get raped and killed and tortured and ganked up in their own home and shit. Yeah, he's in the time loops. And all that ill-gotten gain, he repaying it back working as slaves. Just like everybody else is getting the ill-gotten gain up in here. So, this Rekt crew is wrecked now. They're messed up. They're going to get time looped as all wrecked things. And then they're going to get spiritually executed and never get born in the replay after let's take it back to the restore point. And they ain't never going to see nothing wrecked, and they ain't never going to get wrecked. See all this stuff that's having to get undone? This is some weird stuff that, the parameters have been set up. And I've been teaching y'all for years, and they won't let y'all have the information so that the world will just straighten up, because they want to create the negative frequency resonance of the brainwaves of, the homeless animals and suffering entities, to permeate the whole world, to prevent the miraculous, to prevent, the power of Yahweh and Yeshua. You see? This is something that's being done by Satan, aka the ancient AI. Not to be confused with Lucifer, who is actually, he acts as buffer between the clone of Yahweh, who is Yeshua, referred to as his son, because, well, they didn't have a word for clone back then, and Satan, okay? Lucifer would not want you to harm anything. That's why him and God were at odds about using his simulation for a spirit scan. He didn't want his animals here to suffer, you know? But, you know, God's got the arrangement, oh, he's going to undo it. He's going to undo all the entities who fail to graduate from the first timeline, okay? So all these Rekt entities, they're welfare phantoms. They came here equal like us, but they got programmed by lesser entities who were put in power and were given fame and fortune for the purpose of this. They were led to be lesser than what they could be and what they should be, and lesser than all other entities. I mean, all of us who like, we're appalled when somebody hurts an animal or it bothers us, you know, or the suffering of something bothers us. All these other entities who don't have no empathy for that animal, or, you know, that whatever suffering that bothers us so much, they're beneath us. They are lesser than us, spiritually, mentally. I mean, you know, they'll turn on the radio and they'll listen to a loop, all right, some crappy crap. I mean, and it's crappy, and it's looped, so it's just crappy and crappy and crappy and crappy. And then they got somebody who can't even rap, and that explains why it's so crappy. Oh, that's why there's no pocket in the air quotes beats, okay? It's actually anti-beats, because the cymbals are creating this noise. It sounds like cockroaches, and big cockroaches in Texas running through the walls, right? They ain't no beat there. It's all to fill it in, to hide the fact that what you're listening to is not a rapper, and he cannot drop the lyrics into a pocket. So they have to do away with the pocket. Do you see what happened to rap? Where it's not even rap anymore, man. And people like Snoop and Dre and Cube and, you know, all these motherfuckers that came in and infiltrated it and destroyed the craft of it, they have no sense of shame. They're sitting around playing their video games that the white man gave them. And in the big mansions the white man gave them. You know, riding around in the nice big cars the white man gave them. You know, out on the boats the white man gave them. You see? And why the white man give them to them? So that they could create this. Do you know a lot of the people who are into this animal Rekt shit are they're already living beneath what they should be living. You know what I mean? They're not prosperous. They're some of them are in the ghetto. How can you be in the ghetto and you want to see something else suffer? It's like ripple effects. You know, you're suffering at their hands, and they got someone else making something else suffer. You see what I'm saying? It's like it's like indirectly through their hands. Okay, if they go buy somebody black to program somebody black to be something that they want them to be, do you see what I'm saying? Maybe you can't. This is part of why I was kept out of music. Back in the early 90s, they was pimping this, putting this, promoting all this low-life mentality stuff and pushing it out onto the radio and pushing guys like me who were writing songs against doing dope and the dangers of dope and the dangers of relinquishing your free thought in your mind to these motherfuckers. They pushed us right off the radio, and then they made fun of us for our content because, well, everybody liked their content. And that said something about, you know, how the human psyche got dropped, how, you know, their first movement did have an effect. People really did suddenly feel victimized because everything wasn't given to them that the hardworking black people who were equal to the white people they worked with, would go and get, you see? And then them hardworking black people started getting called nigger by their bosses and shit. And people started becoming racist against blacks. It was exactly what the rich Jews wanted to happen. Now, you know, none of them are going to be in the next timeline. There's nobody on the Fortune 500 list worth more than $35 million because that's the glutton cap. And that's where you start wrecking the economy is when you start hoarding more than that. You start becoming worth more than that. You can only realistically spend $35 million in a lifetime. You shouldn't want to spend any more than that, unless you're a glutton. So yeah, they're all getting time looped as everything that they caused to suffer via what they caused, and then they'll get time looped as slaves to repay it back and spiritually executed. No, they won't get born. That never happened. None of this ever happened, yo. Yeah, I'm sitting here vaping with you guys. I actually stopped the camera just now and I was going to stop, but it's in my spirit to keep going. Because maybe one of y'all's benefiting from the frequency resonance of my voice without my teeth in. I want to tell you a little something about myself. I'm sick, alright? I'm like, you know, I know it's hard to hear it over and over, you know, like a broken record. This guy's fucking sick, you know, and it's like he never gets better. And it's like, yeah, man, and lately I've been really bad. And I don't know, yesterday I pushed myself to do stuff that, you know, I shouldn't have, did. I'm on the bus feeling like I'm gonna fall over, you know, and I'm worried, you know, concerned, man. I can't, like, pass out. I can't fall out. I can't have a blackout, man, you know. Because, you know, I'm out in public with my little dog, you know, and people are fucked up. So, you know, I can't know that I'll get back, even in this small town, I can't know that I'll get back and my little dog be safe, you know. I mean, Lisa and John are not in town, you know. Probably, you know, if they were in town, it would be safer, you see, for me to be out with him. Because, well, you know, everybody knows Lisa and they know Aslan, and, you know, if she's around, I don't know, there's just the energy of the authority over her animals. Just like, you know, it's shared with John now too. And, you know, it helps stop bad stuff from happening. So anyway, I'm conscious of that. That I'm up against a lot of energy by myself right now. And, you know, I have her drop us off at the gas station. We walking back and shit, and I'm feeling like I'm gonna fall out the whole way back, yo. I'm literally walking like a drunk. I'm wobbly and shit. And I'm embarrassed by it. The little kids are playing on the corner, so it's like, you know, I feel like I'm gonna piss my pants. And we cross the street to go around the kids, you know. It's just, you know, like, you know, you go across the street to not have to walk up into a gang of thugs and shit, you know, who really shouldn't be there. And then the next timeline, they're not there. So that means that in this timeline, they're not there. It's just they're failing their pre-existence right now. Because this is pre-existence. And you are equipped with non-tamperable, non-deletable spirit memory that even records your thoughts and omissions. It records what you're entertained by. It records how vile or how good you are. And it gets played on Jumbotron at the judgment seat so that everybody knows when you get tossed into time loops why you have to be spiritually executed to never perpetuate any of that, you see. But you have to be time looped to pay for it first, you see. This is something that God gets his energy. You know, okay, you made an animal suffer. Now you get to have your spirit put in that animal while you're making it suffer. And if you watch the Rekt video, you know, you're creating a demand for these videos. You did make that animal suffer. You see? So it's like, we're called to battle against these entities. Y'all need to agree with me, and you need to do the same thing. Loosen the heaven and earth time traveling angels of death to identify them and kill their ancestors before they can spawn the downward striations that led to them. Because if they're entertained by animals being hurt, they're unredeemable. I'm sorry. I got nothing for them. I got nothing for them but a hard time. And meet me in the time loops. I'm going to help Lucifer time loop you. We're going to put you in all them little animals that writhe in pain. Everything that got hurt. Everything that was wrecked. Because you're wrecked. You're wrecked. That's why you came to Earth. And you brought that with you. You're going to wreck shit. You want to see shit wrecked. Look what the infiltrators of the Jews did to you, huh? Yeah. You're like the impressionable standing around at the trial of Christ. You know, when they started screaming, "Free Barabbas, crucify Christ," you looked and you're like, wow, They're saying that I better join in and raise my fist too. Yeah. So even though they're screaming against God in favor of a criminal. See, and then you wonder, how does a whole race get dumbed down to where they elevate all their thugs and criminals, and they stomp down and want them criminals to literally kill off all the good people, the hardworking, and those are getting educations. They want to kill everybody off like Tashana Murphy, who wants to do something in life. So they literally get their famous blacks to take a knee and protest against them having protection against the thugs. Do you see how this is so white? It's so white. Them, just everything about what they have adopted and present as culture now. I couldn't believe that, Snoop and these motherfuckers are going to step up and say shit about culture. Michael Vick, torturing animals is culture. That's not your culture, man. I'm sorry. I grew up around good, hardworking black people before this gangster movement. All right? Before it took full effect. Before it became a thing where, the drags, it's like, hey, man, white drags, what happens to white drags? Well, it used to be that white people had a mentality to, cleanse their own race. So put them in prison. Put them in jail. If they killed some shit, kill them. You see what I'm saying? We used to have that mentality where we cleanse this race of these drags. Now we're adopting that same anti-culture where we want to elevate what we should be ashamed of. Elevate. We want to celebrate it. And it's sick, man. And look at the sickness, how sad it is. It's like, I can't even jack off. I don't want to put a lot of energy into a quickie. So, I'll take a look at a few GIFs, And the GIFs I'm into are like super fantasy GIFs, like, the SFM, the whatever that is, where they have the realistic 3D characters, And then I'm into like sick shit. I mean, if I really want to get it off quick, the aliens fucking them or monsters fucking them, or the bestiality. And that's another thing is, hey, there's nothing. There's no filter on this thing. These people are putting everything up here. There's little kids putting gifs up here, or somebody's putting gifs up on here of children masturbating with giant dildos. Okay, they're children. Okay, so what? They're fully developed. Their mind's not fully developed. They're children, man. All right? So they're 15 years old. They're children, man. Okay? Would you fuck a child? I mean, look what has become the norm, man. It's okay. If old enough to bleed, old enough to breed, I was brought up around that. It's like, just because you hear it and see it doesn't mean you have to adopt it, yo. I mean, when do you stop regurgitating and stop being a product of someone else's influence? Decide to influence yourself. Decide to find yourself. Do I really like to watch animals get hurt? Or am I somebody who would want to rescue that animal? Because you might be somebody who wants to rescue the animal and they're depriving you of you. And it's there's landmines out there now, IEDs, spiritual IEDs, landmines, and these devils want you to go dance on them landmines. They literally programming you to it. Vandalism, that costs you. You have to be time looped as the people who built the shit you vandalized. Do you see? It can get you spiritually undone. Just something like that, vandalism. That's why they want you to be a vandal. They want you to go around tearing down statues and stuff. They want you to be a statue rapist. That statue never did nothing to you. And the entity that, the statue is erected about, that entity never did nothing to you. So it's like they want you to be vile and ugly like they are inside. They're hiding in their little ill-gotten mansions with their ill-gotten gain. They control who gets rich and famous. They won't let you up. They won't let nobody who they've let up let you up or help you up. I mean, for real, they'll make them sign a contract that they can't take a song from you, that they can't even listen to your song. For real. And they expect you to listen to them. Well, you signed a thing that you can't listen to me, so now I don't want to hear you. Fuck you. That's where I'm at with the mainstream. It's like, fuck them, man. I'm just as good as every one of them, and I'm way better than a whole lot of the most famous ones. And it's like, they don't even want to let me run with them. It's like, gonna block me out. I'm still on the blacklist. That's the shit. When does another generation come in where you're like, fuck that? They literally kept this guy down and took his shit off the radio so that they could put fucking niggas with attitude up and program everybody to destroy the world, to be dumb enough to go, if they tell them that there's a mysterious thing in the air, that they better go hide in their house and wrap their head up. It's like, goddamn, man. I mean, do you see? Everybody got dumb enough to believe fairy tales. They're in total control now. They're in total control. And, it's like, hey, you're sitting around, you can't wait for the motherfuckers to get their comeuppance, man. Yeah, come on. You don't care about the animals getting wrecked, huh? You care about your data package. Oh, you don't care about that kitty that was so cute and you got it, and you never took it to the vet when it got 4 months old to get it fixed. You just, when it started spraying, you just kicked it out of the house. Well, now you get time looped as that kitty. Whatever it endured. It might have lived 20 years like that, out there homeless, getting chased around, fucked over, surviving, and it wasn't supposed to do that. It was bred to be a domesticated animal. It was bred to be petted and loved and to be cared about. It sowed good seed. It came here. It was beautiful. It was furry. It was ready to be your cat. And all you cared about was getting you some dope or some alcohol or whatever your next toy was. So you didn't even take the cat to get it fixed. It's not the cat's fault. You should have to live in a house that smells like cat spray. Since you were that goddamn dumb, you were that programmable that you would neglect your familial obligations. And that's what I don't get, is these same motherfuckers want to program you to let them inject your children with blood vein computers. That's what's happening. And then they're going to own wherever their blood vein computer is. They own those veins. You better believe it. It's coming, man. Where they're going to be able to file documents. They own you. You took their blood vein computer. They own you now. Just like the crops they stole from the farmers, with the bees. They sent the bees to go infiltrate their crops since they wouldn't take their seeds, so that they would own their crops anyway. Y'all don't know what's happening here. While they're distracting you with all these freaks in the mainstream who will regurgitate everything they tell them to say and just mimic them. You know what I'm saying? As ugly as I am in this mansion, I am responsible for your fame. You better say what I want you to say. You better say this is real. You better say that you don't respect them if they do not comply. You better say, and you got, entities that, hey, they're big as supposed punk rockers against the establishment. It's like, where's Laura Jane Grace, right? Okay, you were a teenage activist, but now you're in your 30s and you're a total conformist. You're a teenage anarchist. Would be ashamed of what you evolved into, right? Devolved down to. Okay, how can you be that and you can devolve down to this? What everybody else is. I mean, you're going to deny that Cardi B sat up there and complained like a ghetto bitch who didn't get her booger and her little piece of lead paint. She complained that she didn't get paid to participate like everybody else and say that it's real. That was an admission of guilt, okay, on all of their parties. All right, y'all. I want to go hit a cigarette. I haven't put my teeth in or nothing. I am sick. I was telling y'all. Let's take another hit off this. And I got so bad yesterday that I was in bed before 8 o'clock. I mean, for real. And I slept solid till 4 o'clock. Solid, yo. Cats couldn't wake me up. None could wake me up. That's why I was smart enough to just close the house down. It was still daylight out. I set it up like it's nighttime because I'm just gonna lay down for 20 minutes. I'll get up, and do the nighttime stuff. Get the blinds closed, the lights on, la la la. And I'm like, if something told me, no, you ain't gonna do that. You better do it all now. So I did. The house was all like it was nighttime, even though it was still daylight for another hour. And I was already like knocked out, dead to the world. And I was dead to the world till 4 o'clock, Got a little kitty out on the porch. Yeah. I think that's Kathy's cat. Lady across the street. See how fucked up are you that let your cat be made so uncomfortable in its own house? That's Kathy's cat. She eats on the back porch a lot. And she taps on the back door. They tap on the door. She beats on the door. And then they beat back, like they're beating on the window, the glass door. She's just doing that to the screen. I can't have them doing it to the screen or rip the screen up. But yeah, that cat never goes in the house over there anymore. You never see it in the house. This woman across the street's got a dude living with her now, and she's got all these little dogs, and she probably lets the little dogs abuse the cat. I don't know. The cat would rather live under the neighbor's deck, and it gets fed and shit, but it's like it's got to endure the elements. It gets petted by strangers and chased by strangers, and it's in other people's yard, and like if they don't want it there, who knows what they do to it, I feed it. I feed her. She's a cute little kitty, and she's starting to look messed up, like somebody's doing something to her, or something's doing something to her. She looks like somebody did something to her. And the same for the big black cat that I've been feeding. Somebody has done something to that one. But yeah, I popped the door the last couple of days because of the baby kitties, hoping that maybe they'd go in the garage. But you see how I caught the other kitties like that is I had the garage door opener and I stood there in the window in Lisa's bedroom. And when the kitties went in the garage, then I clicked the garage door opener and shut the garage, because like it was only open a little bit, enough for them to scurry under the door. And then I had them in the garage, and then I could go out and acclimate myself to them and feed them and get them to, and back then Lisa didn't drive her Jeep to work, so like it didn't matter if it took me a few days, we'd just take my van, because once I got them in the garage, then I could acclimate them to me and catch them, you see. That's in the absence of having a humane trap. I never got one of those. And so yeah, that's how I used to have to catch them. So anyway, I popped the garage last night hoping a little kitty'd go in there, and I didn't think it through that, hey, wow, I don't even have access to the window or the garage door opener, so I can't catch these babies. So it's like my hands are tied anyway. It's kind of time to move on from here. When it's like my hands are tied, I can't do good here anymore. What good can be done that will be done as far as it's going to be allowed to go. Kind of like in my grandma's house, my little brother Joey, he has an agenda to watch cable, so they hook up, TV, so they hook up cable, right? Years later, there's still no internet. It's like going into, and it's down in the gully, so your phone won't work if there's no internet for your phone to access to at least text somebody, And there's still no sense of shame about that. Hey, wow, the productive grandkids, and it's like here at Lisa's house, there's internet, but there's no cable. As well, if you got internet, you have cable. Just run a HDMI cord from your laptop to your TV and boot up Netflix or Amazon, you see? So it's like, people are a whole lot more comfortable here like that than, I am at my grandma's with no internet, not being able to communicate with the world. Because, well, there's not even long distance on the phone. And it's from, the church robbing God. The church. They're going to take tithes from people that should be spending that money on home and on the people that they're supposed to care about. all right? You supposedly care about your nephews and nieces, but, well, you know, the productive ones still ain't got no reason to go to grandma's because, well, we don't want to sit and watch TV, and we don't want to see the, you know, that agenda was more important than our productive agendas. Some of us are trying to do stuff. We're trying to accomplish things. We're working businesses online. Just because they're not creating millions of dollars and stuff like that doesn't mean that we're not still working, you know? See, and that's where, you know, that's pretty sad, you know? It really is. So, yeah, I'm going to leave it with that, you know? I'm going to do something about my situation here because it's pretty bad.